Welcome back to The Blueprint. It's your boy Mohammed Imam, aka MIVisuals, graphic designer, podcaster, and now going on 8 weeks consistent YouTuber. So thanks to you guys, we've hit over 200 subscribers and over 200 viewing hours of our content, which is absolutely crazy to me. That means that people have been watching 200 hours of our content. And yeah, we plan to grow and be bigger and better than this, but for a start, within 2 months, I think it's amazing. And myself and Ray are very grateful for that, and we wanted to just show our appreciation and really show that we are really grateful for all the support that you've given us. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing a giveaway. We haven't decided how exactly we're going to do it, but in the next couple of videos, you'll be hearing more about it. And yeah, I hope that you guys can win something that you feel benefits you, and it's also something that you can enjoy having. In today's video, I'm going to be giving 5 tips on how to find inspiration in a time where a lot of us are lacking exactly that. Let's roll the intro.
The Blueprint.
So tip number 1 is to rest and recuperate and forgive yourself. A lot of us have made plans in early 2020 and we wanted to travel, we wanted to learn this and learn that and publish this and work with these people, but we never got the chance. We kept on pushing it back because of all these restrictions on us right now. And obviously it hasn't been easy on us. So I think it's very important to acknowledge that this might be a time where you just have to sit back and relax, be a bum, be lazy, and just rest and recuperate and forgive yourself. These plans, they might keep you getting pushed back all the time, but eventually we'll get to a point, hopefully, in the near future where the pandemic has passed and things will go back to normalcy. But in the meantime, a lot of us are working 9 to 5s and studying full time, and it's very important to rest and recuperate after doing this because we're not in a normal era in human history. We're in a very unprecedented time, and this is going to go down in the history books. People are going to be studying us. So you just got to acknowledge that and realize that your body and your mind also need rest. So be a bum, be lazy, forgive yourself, eat junk food, laze around just watching TV shows all day, but just make sure that you're doing a little bit more and more every day. But the most important thing is to forgive yourself for not reaching these goals, for not being able to fulfill these plans that you had in mind. And after doing this, we can think about how we can actually action things, because without that rest and recovery, our bodies and minds and our souls are finished, and without that creative expression will be extremely lacking. It will be forced, and we don't want to be showing that kind of forced self-expression. So tip number 1, rest, recuperate, and forgive yourself.
It's the resting and recuperating and totally not a bum clone. It's the emotionally insensitive clone.
Isn't this meant to be a creativity and productivity channel?
Just fix your posture, man. And you too.
Tip number 2, find your why. I always go back to this. Find your why. Why do you want to do this? What's your intention behind doing this? Without that intention in place and that understanding of why you want to do this, you're not going to be able to push out those little bits of extra energy and squeezing that little bit of extra juice out of yourself in tough times. And without that intention in place, you're going to really fall short when it gets to a point where you feel like there's an obstacle. You're going to think about, why am I doing this? And you're going to forget the main purpose from the start, and then you're going to fall off. And then later on down the line, you might regret that, and you might look at your peers and think like, wow, they're doing big things, and you start comparing yourself and you feel even worse and worse and worse, and it snowballs from there. So you have to really think about why you're doing this, the intention behind it. So tip number 1, rest, recuperate, forgive yourself. Tip number 2, why are you doing this? Tip number 3, stop comparing yourself to others. A lot of us are following a large amount of people on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, all of that stuff, and we look at their work and we see their work and we're inspired by it, but we're also fearful of it. We're also intimidated by it. We see all their work all the time and we start to think like, how do they have the energy for that? Why why am I not able to produce that kind of stuff consistently, especially in times like this? How is it that they have the energy for it? And you have to think about, this is you comparing yourself, and it's very unhealthy. This is you comparing yourself to someone that you don't know their story, you don't know what struggles they have. They might be struggling their whole life. They might have a day where it's torture, and the only bit of joy they get throughout that day is just to create that one little thing. And without you knowing that, you're just comparing yourself and you're making yourself feel worse. And it's not easy to avoid comparison, but at the end of the day, you've got to kind of detox yourself as well. Get away from social media. You don't have to be looking at your phone every 5 seconds. I'm definitely guilty of that, but by like always feeding your mind other people's stuff, you're gonna start comparing yourself naturally. So the best way to do it is to distance yourself. Put your phone down, set a timer on yourself. How long are you allowed to use social media for the day, and just monitor that and see how you feel after. Maybe give it a week where you only use social media for 1 hour a day. Give it a week and see how you feel. And then if you feel great, if you feel better, give it a month, and then just keep on going from there. So what you always want to think about is how you use social media, and where when you're comparing yourself to others, where are you finding these other people? By like acknowledging all of these things, you're thinking about how to defeat this comparison and how to make sure that you're stopping the thief of joy, as they say. So comparison, the thief of joy, and we want to stop it. Number 4, I'm always telling people, this will be a bit of a outside the box one, but also a bit of a self-biased one. I grew up reading books, and I'm always telling people read more, even though I don't read as much these days myself. And one thing, the reason I say read for inspiration is because when you read something, it's a different format of consuming content. When you're watching a show, you're seeing exactly what the director is showing you, what the producer of that show is showing you. You're seeing exactly how they want it to be shown, and that's it. You might kind of think about things in different ways if the storyline is really clever, but at the end of the day, you're getting fed visual information directly into you. And reading books is different because you're reading a book you're reading a story, and the writer is telling you a story, but your brain is also absorbing that information. Your brain is absorbing that information and allowing you to visualize it in your own head in such a way that you can think of how the story is being told, and you're thinking about how characters look. Do you ever read a book and think about how characters look and how the scenery looks and the noises that they hear and the sounds of the story being told? And like, this is, first of all, you're getting ideas and inspiration from the writer himself, and then your brain is also adding its own ideas and visualizations, and you're putting all this together, and that's like hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. So just think about like being able to read a book, absorb the writer's ideas of things, but also your brain visualizing things together and putting them together. So this is like one thing you can do to really generate more ideas quickly. All right, whether it's articles, whether it's Instagram carousels, whether it's comic books or normal written literature, like, you just have to kind of absorb things in a different way, because by consuming this, your brain is generating ideas and also getting ideas from the author. And I think that's a very easy way of generating ideas and getting inspired. So yeah, read more. I'm always telling people, and I'm always trying to do that myself, but it is what it is. Tip number 5, still like an artist. It's a little bit of a tip that was inspired by a book I read called Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, an author based in Texas. I don't know why I said that, but here's the book. Still Like an Artist. I'm always recommending it to people. It's a small little handbook that gives a lot of little tips to do with how to make the most out of your creativity and do it by stealing from other artists. So obviously, plagiarism, we don't do that over here. We don't steal from other artists. We don't steal from other artists. We don't plagiarize from other artists, but what we do is take references from other artists, take inspiration from other artists, get inspired by other artists. There's a few artists that I'm inspired by at the moment. I already said don't compare yourself to other people, but it's also healthy to see other people's work and kind of think about how they did things kind of think about how you can kind of reverse engineer it. With the book, it also advises like 5 different, think about like your 5 favorite artists and think about your 5 favorite people or whatever. You're usually the combination of that. You're usually a combination of those 5 favorite people or 5 favorite artists. Your artwork is usually like a strong blend of those things. And that's what he's talking about over there. And for me, what I do is every time I see something that I like, I screenshot it or I record it and I add it to a gallery. I have a whole folder where it's just, I call it an inspiration folder, where I save other people's work. And when I am feeling down or uninspired, I go back to that folder and I look at all these other people's work and I think about how they did it and I get some ideas from that. So that's a huge source of inspiration for me. So yeah, tip number 5, still like an artist. Saying that, I also want to shout out a couple of creatives that I've been inspired by lately. One of them is called Mohammed Mia. I don't know if I said his surname correct, but yeah, he posts pretty frequently on Instagram and he just does really amazing photo manipulation, a lot of creative ideas where he takes some singers or artists that he admires and he makes like graphics out of them, and he's amazing. Like I think out of like most of the people that I follow, he's always consistently producing quality that I just look at it and I'm like, wow, like he's better than me. But I'm always inspired because I'm like, yo, I'm gonna try and make sure that next time I produce something, it's gonna be as good as that or better. And he's just one of those people that I look at and I get inspired by. So I'm hoping to get him onto the channel actually in the future. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Second person, I've only recently started following him. He's called Man Like Mike. He's got a YouTube channel himself, and he's like, I just watched his video, his latest video, like a couple of days ago, and I was blown away. The amount of research that he put into it, the amount of time he put into it, the amount of effort he put into it to produce a video where he was highlighting a whole bunch of different creatives, but also kind of relating that to his own journey. And it was a whole thing where Still Like an Artist is kind of embodied in that video that he makes, he made, but it's also part of a series that he's got going on called Visuals of the Week, where he researches and finds a bunch of visuals that he's been really rating for the last week or so, and then he puts them all together in a video and compiles them and researches how they happened, researched the behind the scenes of the visuals and the people behind the visuals and who the visuals were made by and who they were inspired by. And the way he done it, the editing, the production, the composition, everything was fantastic. So I just wanted to shout him out because boy, when I saw that, I was like, I need to drastically raise up my production levels. But that's number 2. And then number 3, Lime Studios. We had them on the podcast recently. So Lime is a production company a creative production company based in London. They worked with a whole bunch of brands, including Puma, Casio, Liverpool, GQ, Just Water, a whole bunch of different clothing companies as well. And they're really inspiring because it was founded by 2 brothers and they're working together to always consistently make products and graphics and advertising campaigns for these companies in such a way that it's just always pushing the box a little bit. And also they make their own merch, so they're actually gonna release a drop this week, I think. So when this video is out, they probably already made it, but this is all content that they've made and at a high quality level, and it's always very impressive and I really admire them. So Lime Studios. And yeah, that's it. Tip number 5, Still Like an Artist. So yeah, tip number 1 was to be easy on yourself, rest and recuperate. Tip number 2 was to find your why. Tip number 3 was to stop comparing yourself. Tip number 4 was to read more, and tip number 5 was to still like an artist. So I hope that was useful. In the next few videos, I'm going to be doing a lot less talking head videos where I'm just talking to you the whole time. I hope that's insightful and you found a little bit of inspiration from that. Even if it helps one person, that makes me happy. So if you found that useful, please let us know down in the comments below. We actually talk about a lot of these kind of things in our podcast. We get guests on that are actually industry specialists, people that have worked with big brands, and people that have like done it, seen it all, been there, done that. And I think it's very important to get that kind of guest on, but also get some younger, more junior people on who are just getting into the industry and finding their way around. So they are also a great reference point for people that will also want to get into the same industry. So yeah, that's been me again. Thank you once again for 200 subscribers. We're gonna be doing a giveaway, so keep an eye out for that. It's been your boy MIVisuals, Mohammed Imam. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe. Stay safe, stay creative, and I'll see you in my next video.